Hi, this is your reporter from Esports Channel 1. Today we're talking with Summer Jabril, team captain of the esports team of Complete High School in Wichita, Kansas. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
What is your game name and what game do you play and what's your position?
Um, my in-game name for Overwatch is Dead Yet, and I play support.
What got you into gaming in the beginning and why did you stay?
Oh boy. My brother actually got me into gaming back in the day whenever all he played was Dig Dug, Space Invaders, there was Pac-Man, Tetris, and I loved those games. So I would play with him and I would watch him whenever I didn't have my own consoles or anything, and he would let me play sometimes. So he's been a really big inspiration to me to continue gaming, and I've just loved it since.
How exciting was it to hear that your high school was forming an esports club?
Oh boy. Whenever I heard that we were starting a team, I was really happy because I've never really been on a team before, even though I've wanted to in the past. It's just, I wasn't expecting it. So I was really, really happy. So,
Describe the level of competition when you play matches against another high school esports team.
oh, uh, sometimes it gets really intense in here. Like we're all over here. It gets really loud in here most of the time, and we're all putting our best effort and best foot forward so that way we can win and continue on because that's what we're about.
Can you share your feelings and strategies during a competitive match?
Oh, so whenever we're in game, I personally like to put my own personal feelings aside, but I do allow myself to get riled up whenever we're winning or whenever something good's happening because positive energy is always good. Negative energy is something that hurts the team. As for strategies go, we play very different comps. There's death ball, there's pulled pork, we do dive, we do everything really, just whatever works for us because we're very flexible. We like to play high aggressive, and that's what we do.
How much time do you practice getting ready for a competitive meet?
We practice 2 times a week in the mornings, and then we practice from 8 to 12 on Fridays. So we practice a good amount, and whenever we're in class together, we make sure to practice and get as much time as we can in together because practice is important and we can't miss out on it.
How do you enjoy working and learning from other esports team members?
I really like learning from my team members because a lot of the times it's something that I don't realize or something that I know I can work better on, and they're encouraging me to do that. So it's really nice, and I'm often working with some of my friends, so it really is a good environment.
How do you see esports club helping you in your overall academic and life pursuits?
So academically, I want to strive so that way I can continue being on the team. If you do not have that academic portion, you cannot be on the team. If you are not here, you cannot be on the team. As for my future, it's going to help me a lot because personally, I want to go into game development and writing games. Yeah, that's just something that it's going to help me out with by playing the game, understanding the mechanics and everything else behind it.
What message would you like to send to other esports team members and high school esports clubs around the country?
I would say really be on time and do your work. Be there with your team and support them. Don't fuel negative energy. Be positive towards your teammates and just be a good friend because your teammates should be your friends.
Are you aware of many colleges offering esports programs and scholarships?
I am very aware of that. I have been researching them every day, and I've actually been practicing with a couple colleges. So, especially Missouri Valley College, they have a fantastic program, and they treat you like you are one of their own. So they are very open towards recruits, and people who want to scrim with them. So
Do you plan to pursue esports in college as a career?
I want to continue playing esports even throughout college and in my future. Whether or not it's like not competitive, pro, I will continue doing it. It's something that I love and enjoy, and that I will probably never give up.
Where do you see esports in your high school in 3 to 5 years?
Esports is going to continue growing rapidly. If our school has it, then it's going to be everywhere. I guarantee that.
Do you have any final comments to share?
Whenever you're playing games, do not VM. VMing is not a good thing. Don't be late if you're going up against other teams. It's just bad manners and habits, and they will not want to play you again. And the word spreads quickly that you did that. Other teams will not want to play against that. I guarantee it. So good luck.
Hi, this is your reporter from Esports Channel 1. Today we're talking to Ty Stanford, one of the original members of the Overwatch esports team at Complete High School in Wichita, Kansas. Hi, how are you, Ty?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Terrific. What is your game name and what position do you play?
My name is Tyford. I play secondary tank in Overwatch.
What got you into gaming in the beginning?
Well, when I was around 10, my mother bought me my first PS2. Ever since then, I've just been hooked on anything related to gaming, and I've never been able to stop.
How excited was it to hear your high school was forming an esports club?
Honestly, I never thought it was going to happen while I was here. I'd heard about it. Mike had told me about it once, about this time last year. But I just didn't think it was going to happen before I graduated, so I'm actually really happy to actually have it.
How does the high school support your esports team?
Well, the teachers come in early in the morning to open up the school so that me and my team can practice. They stay they stay late in the day in order to help us so that they can have the school open while we're doing our game. And they also come in on days they're not even supposed to come in, just so our team can get some practice in.
What is the best part of being on the high school esports team?
I think it's the relationships and the friendship that comes along the way with all of your teammates. It's really cool being able to say, hey, that's the person sitting next to me that's also behind me in the game supporting me.
Describe to me the level of competition when you play matches against another high school esports team.
Well, the level of competition and energy in some of our players is really high. So it can get a little loud in here sometimes when we're playing. It's a lot of fun to be around, and it really motivates me.
Can you share your feelings and strategies during a competitive match?
Well, during competitive matches, I play secondary tank. So what I'm focusing on is making sure I know when the enemies have ultimates up and making sure my front line and back line stay within unison.
How do you enjoy working and learning from other esports team members?
I really enjoy learning from my teammates because I learn things that I wouldn't learn otherwise. For example, I obviously play secondary tank, so I don't really know what our secondary support, primary support, or DPS are really doing. So being able to communicate with each other is really important in order to build effective strategy.
Do you see esports club helping your overall academic and life pursuits?
I believe that if I weren't a part of the Overwatch team, I might not even be in school anymore. So yes, I definitely think that it's helping me to improve academically. I also think that it's helping with motivation in life, just in general.
What message would you like to send to other esports team members and high school esports clubs around the nation?
I would say communicate to each other. It really doesn't matter what game you're in, Overwatch, League of Legends, Dota, doesn't matter. Communication, communication, communication. If you don't know what the others are going through, you can't focus on yourself more effectively.
Are you aware of many colleges that offer esports programs and scholarships?
I have heard about that, and that actually makes me really excited.
Do you plan to pursue esports in college or as a career?
Honestly, I never really thought that I was college material, but after figuring out that a lot of colleges actually are developing gaming and esports teams of their own, I'm kind of pushing towards maybe, maybe I will go in college.
Where do you see esports in your high school in 3 to 5 years?
Honestly, I think gaming is only going to grow from here.
Do you have any final comments to share with us?
I'd just like to say again, communicate with each other, be friends with each other. Building a team is more about the respect and trust of each other than it is about one single person's skill.
This is your Esports Channel 1 reporter. Today we're talking to Dr. Christy Custer, principal of Complete High School in Wichita, Kansas. Hi, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
So you've recently added Esports Club to your program activity. Tell me about it.
Well, Mike Russell was the impetus behind this and really the genius behind it. And he came on our staff 4 years ago. And he had an interest in computers and he talked about gaming. And so in our conversations together, I have a 14-year-old son. And so obviously, well, not obviously, but in my world, with my 14-year-old son especially, video games are a big part of our household. And I don't necessarily play, but I certainly support him. And so when Mike talked about possibly having an esports team, anything that will capture students' interest, I'm all about that. And I knew this would capture their interest. And so I said, go for it, Mike. And he went all in, and the results have just been fabulous.
What has been the reaction to supporting a new esports club just for gamers in your high school?
Within our school, it's a no-brainer. Our students and our staff, like I said, anything that can get students involved, everyone was all for. Outside of our school, I really have to say that within our district, the support has been more than expected. And even at our state level, our state commissioner of education, he is supportive of it. He told Mike, we set up a booth at one of the educational conventions that we were having, and he and Mike were talking, and he said, even though I don't understand it, I trust you. And I trust that as a teacher, you know what you're doing and that this is educational. So I would have to say we've had more support than I had anticipated. I think there's excitement about it because I think everyone knows someone that is interested in this, and parents and administrators, they're just excited that we are doing, as they see, something positive with this, and it's not just a bunch of kids sitting down in their basement doing nothing.
How does your high school support your esports team?
I think the most important thing that we do as a high school is we offer this as a class. And so Mike and I created an actual curriculum that we took to our curriculum review board, and it was approved so that we actually teach this as a curricular class. So many of our colleagues are teaching this, well, not even teaching it, they're clubs. It's an after-school club, and that we actually have a class that supports this. I think that's why we're having a lot of success with it.
How does your esports club open new opportunities for your students?
This is where I was truly blown away. I did not realize that about the time that we got this started, colleges were really, it was really exploding in the college scene also. And so now our students are being recruited and can get scholarships. And that was something that prior to us having this or even knowing about it, I don't think they were available. And now our people are coming to us to recruit our students. I also think it's a positive way for them to take a hobby and see how that they can turn something they love into a career, not just as gamers, but we went to BlizzCon last year, and just to see the workings of BlizzCon, people behind the camera, people who were marketing the games, marketing the event. Within Wichita, the Wichita eSports, and I think now it's the Midwest eSports, it has just exploded, and we have a close relationship with him. And so just to see, Ramsey is his name, he's the founder of Midwest eSports, just to see how his business and how Wichita eSports has turned into Midwest eSports, and he's hired more people, and he's had our students intern for him. I can just see that this is a career. This isn't just something these kids are wasting time doing in their basement. They're building skills that they can, especially now that it's harnessed through the class and through the curriculum. I can see how they can take this into their lives and turn a hobby into a successful career.
Can you briefly tell me a little more about the set of standards for gaming curriculum and the lesson plans for gaming courses for credit that you've established for around the nation?
Sure. We actually started out, well, actually we did a lot of research, and we always say there's no need to reinvent the wheel, because there's something probably out there that we can take and modify. Well, what we found was we needed to reinvent the wheel. We needed to invent the wheel on the esports curriculum. And so just because we could see at first, we could definitely see some similarities with sports, we actually looked to the PE curriculum and kind of looked, how do they turn football into curriculum in school? And so we took a lot of it, modeled a lot of it from what they were doing in PE classes, where they taught concepts, they taught health, they taught sportsmanship, just the parallels between what was going on in the sports world and what is going on in esports. They were so similar that we just had to take the structure of that and then apply it to the content.
Where do you see esports in your school in 3 to 5 years?
We're going to win the high school esports league. We're going to be the best.
Any final comments?
I just think this isn't something that we need to be waiting on. This is already here. There's already interest in it, and the kids are ready to go. It's the adult, as with so many things in school, the kids are there already. They're already doing this. And so I think it's like cell phones, and how, you know, we were so scared to bring cell phones into schools. And I think that the schools that have embraced the cell phones and, you know, use them as the most powerful computers in the building, really, for a lot of schools, it's the same with this. We have to teach, the technology is already here. The kids are already using it. I think it's our responsibility as educators and as parents to teach them how to use it responsibly, correctly, and with some fidelity, where they're not just sitting downstairs for, you know, all night long playing video games. They're developing skills, whether that be social skills or job skills that they will be able to use someday.
This is your reporter from Esports Channel 1. Today we're talking with Michael Russell, esports teacher coach at Complete High School in Wichita, Kansas. Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. How did you get the idea of starting an esports team club at your high school?
So in 2011, I actually went to BlizzCon. My first time. I've been playing Blizzard games for a long time, and this was before I even started teaching. But I walked in there and I was just overblown with everything going on in there. And I thought, man, this is so great to see the community coming together. And I thought this would have some great applications for school. So that's really what got me thinking about it. And like I said, that was before I even started teaching. But got fortunate enough to be into teaching now and can start doing some things with that.
Was it difficult to get the support of your principal and high school administration?
It wasn't difficult to get the support from them. They were positive about getting a program going. The larger issue was the funding. Fortunately, we had a couple of our community members and our teacher foundation stepped up and provided money to buy our technology and get our computers and get everything going for us. So.
What was the reaction and response from the students in your high school of this new esports club?
The students have been, obviously, I mean, they've been overwhelmingly supportive of it. They were so excited to hear we were actually getting it. We've been talking about it for a couple years, and last year was the first full year we had it going, and they were just ecstatic to get it. And we've had really a lot of support. The community's been helpful in getting everything started, and like Christy mentioned, our Commissioner of Education's even supportive. He's even played some Overwatch with us, so been pretty great. So,
how does the high school support your esports team?
They support our matches. They pay for our entry fees every month to be in the league. We've done some live tournaments, and they paid the entry fees for those. We are open up the school for the kids to come in early and stay late during the week, and then on Fridays also. So what's really great about it is our kids are coming to school when they don't have to be at school. So it's kind of a positive to get them here, and then they're enjoying it while they're here. So.
How does your esports club open up new opportunities for your students?
That's one of the biggest pluses of this is, as I mentioned before, the college angle, but the kids, there's so many things they can learn just from video games themselves. And as far as designing, they can do editing, video editing. We have kids who are interested in graphic design, programming. So there's a lot of areas where just because they're playing games doesn't mean they might be professional gamers, much like someone who's a professional football player isn't, or who plays football in high school may not transition to a professional football player. There's still opportunities for them to use these skills they're learning in here, even though it's just a video game. It's much more than that to me and to the kids.
Share some of the recent exciting things your esports team has done and what your plans are for the future.
Well, this past weekend, we actually scrimmaged against, we had a showcase match here in Wichita, and we played against a local college, and we were actually able to win one of those matches. So we were pretty excited about that with them they had 2 top 500 players on their team, and we were excited to get one match off of them, and we won. We were close on some others, so it was awesome to see our team come together. We had some new members, and we hadn't really had a lot of practice yet this year, so it was pretty exciting. And just the opportunities hearing our kids, summer practices with a college team and does some things, and just to hear what they're excited about to go into college, and like some of these kids wouldn't have went to college if it wasn't for this opportunity, and that's what's exciting to me. So,
where do you see esports in your high school in 3 to 5 years?
Well, just by judging over the last year, I would say. So last year we only had one Overwatch team. This year we're transitioning to an Overwatch team and a League of Legends team. So we're going to compete in 2, and I'm pretty excited about that. And then I hope to at some point. Summer's already done quite a bit of this, but I'm hoping to transition a lot of our teams into having student coaches with me kind of overseeing the administrative side of and making sure the coaches are where they need to be and getting our teams on track. So, I mean, I look for us to have 4 to 5 competitive teams and some individual players in some different games like OSU and Hearthstone. Would like to get a Heroes of the Storm team going. So, as far as us, I would expect, probably 50 to 60% of our students to be participating in esports within the next 3 to 5 years. So,
do you have any final comments to share?
I would say just don't be scared to use video games to reach kids. It's a great way to harness their energy. I mean, they're already playing the games at home, and having some structure to it in the classroom and after school makes it a lot more meaningful to them. They like the input and they like the teamwork. At home, they're not really playing with people that they're sitting right next to. Whereas here, they're sitting next to their teammates and they're forming strong bonds. And our team is strong. I mean, they hang out a lot. And and use the video games to reach the kids, but then you can enhance so many other great abilities from these kids using the video games.